Hey everybody, Fragger here, and we're doing the episodes 25 through 29 of N+. Now this level here is going to be one of the very last teaching levels. As you can kind of tell, it's a fairly simple level. It's mostly going to be just you getting gold, but you really don't need it. In fact, you could actually grab the button there and drop straight down. I just wanted to do all this hopping. It's good practice to try to hit it so that you can actually leap off them, and you're going to need to learn how to use these bouncy pads without them launching you too far, and you can actually control your jumps. But we're not going to need that for, God, like 40 levels or so. So, cool. I like this level. It doesn't do the thing that I absolutely despise, which is put the exit at the beginning, and you got to go all the way to the end and then double back. But the one thing I don't like that it does is that it puts the button right there at the end, making it kind of just inconsequential hitting the button. They could have made it a little bit of an easier place, like in that bottom area down there, put like the middle gold, make it the thing. It's still easy to get to, but you're not just doing it like there, which is kind of silly. Superliminal Plus Plus is kind of weird because we're going to see another level like this in a little bit, and this is the harder of the two. So kind of think they kind of cross their wires with difficulty. This one is just difficult because of how big the level is. You can really cut down the difficulty by zooming out, but on my TV, actually, it's a little too small, so I wasn't able to actually see what was happening, so I had to do it this way. But in the end, it's not too difficult. They're not really that much of a threat. The size of the level makes them really easy to dodge. The chasers, I mean. Being chasers, Short Round here has an awesome chaser setup, where if you're fast and you're, good at this, you can actually jump over a whole bunch of them. You can actually do one or two on the way back, but I am actually a little terrible at it. And you actually end up losing a little bit of time in doing so. Mainly because of the fact that you have to plan it a lot, and sometimes you're over planning it, you hit things, and shenanigans happens. And now the last one of episode 1, this one is stupidly easy. The only time that it's really going to kick your ass if you decide to go for all the gold, but at this point you can see that we're close to we're over 300 here. We're actually going to end it over 300. We don't need gold at all. So screw that. Let's go to the next episode with Subliminal Plus. This one looks like it could be a little bit more difficult because they move a little faster. It's a smaller area, but as you can see here, it's actually a lot easier just because of the fact that they don't go in the outer area at all, and it's pretty much a straight shot, and you don't have to go all the way around the logo. Moot here is actually a fairly easy level. Pretty much you want to follow the gold as best as possible. I just play with this missile here for a little bit just to have a little bit of fun with that. Probably could have hit that button, but on one of my practice runs I actually hit the button and immediately got missiled doing what I was just showing off doing. So, decided not to this time. Salazar is actually pretty neat. It does the thing I just mentioned that I absolutely despise, which is go all the way to one area, come all the way back. But it does it in a way that it's kind of acceptable. It's the trip there isn't exactly bad as long as you're paying attention. I mean, Coral actually had a much harder set of mines. This one just kind of makes you move a little slowly. This area up here is, of course, the hardest section, but you can see here it's fairly trivial when you're paying attention. And it has the nice little looped corners there so you can actually hit them and slide down. Now, let's just travel back. And we're just about out. Let's go right to the door, or slow down for no reason. Either or. The sum of all numbers. This is the difficult one. Now, it's very deceptive because if you just do things a little bit too wrong, you're going to die. For instance, if you drop straight down, obviously, you're going to hit that wall. If you hit that side there on the bottom one when you're dropping down, you're probably going to get hit by the missile. If you do this and you kind of try to ride that straight shot to that middle button, what'll happen is you'll actually die because you have too much momentum. And right here's the most dickish one right there, is that you have to jump, because if you slide straight down that slope, you're going to go right into that mine and die because they like to place things there. Pretty well put together level, and especially great once you know what to do. This level here is a little easy, mainly because they probably should have made the quarters on the side a little smaller, because you could wall kick up a little fast and kind of breaks it. And if I was really trying to go for time here, I probably could have done this a lot faster, but, you know, playing it safe, giving me time to talk about the level itself, and then just wall kick straight out. Another area you could probably kill yourself by wall kicking too hard. Now let's see what episode 3 is all about. Well, episode 3 in this video at least. Maw is actually pretty easy. All you gotta do is just follow the gold here, and I actually like this kind of section here, because if you do this jump, which I'm gonna do right here, you don't go anywhere near the chasers. Nice little bit of design there, but, you know, still easy. Cyclone B is, I'm thinking, an inversion of a level we saw the last video. Don't really remember, but there's one major problem with the way this level is set up, and actually, this kind of a level should have been first, because once you get the door, you can just jump straight down, and the level's easy. Now here, I actually like this level. This is probably the best way to do these hit a whole bunch of buttons kind of levels, mainly because they're all kind of near each other. They all give you gold, and there's no real danger when you're actually in the areas with the buttons. All the danger is in the middle area, and since this place is so small, you're not going to be spending a ton of time dicking around. You're going to be doing stuff constantly. And I like that. This is kind of the way they should do them. Unfortunately, we're not going to see a lot of these. In fact, this might be one of the only ones that I think has done this well. But we'll see that in later times. Now we're already done, so let's just fall right into this door. Or break or fall. That works too. The boxer is probably my favorite level out of this whole group that I'm showing here, mainly because I like the idea that you have to make these big jumps to do so, and you can't fall straight down. You have to catch yourself, and I missed that mine by a very small amount, which is pretty damn cool. I like that. Don't Fear the Reaper is a level that is very deceptively difficult, mainly because you really have no room to jump at all. When you're gliding across the ceiling, you actually slow down, which will make you get hit from behind, and you really have to memorize the patterns. Because if you watch the door area, you'll see just how packed it usually is, and you really have a small window there, just like how I barely missed that chaser there. This one actually took me a long time to beat. But let's go into the second to last level here. This one is not a very difficult level, mainly because you just gotta time your jumps, wait a little bit, make a jump, do this. It's as long as you take this smartly, you'll make it through there, and I still have no idea why this level held me up as much as it actually did, to the point where that's why it's taken so long for this video to come out. Next up, we got Evanescence, which is actually a fairly easy level, and it's kind of just here to pad this one out, although it does have a fairly tricky jump here, but it's only because I decided to take this tricky jump. If you just take the left-hand side, it's all in all a very easy level. And the mines aren't really placed to be that difficult. If they had like walled off the center area a bit more with mines, this would have been a lot easier level, I mean a lot more difficult of a level. But as it is right now, it's just take jumps, go over mines and corners, and pick up some extra gold. Fairly blah. Splossable. This one's difficult. That's why. You have to try to get on this block as quickly as possible. Usually if you jump across, you can actually trick the sniper there into taking his 2 shots. You can actually get around him to do this. And then don't forget that the bouncy pads do not block the sniper, which actually makes this section here a little difficult. Because if you jump across the left-hand side, it actually has full vision of you, and you have to kind of be very careful with getting your way back. So that level is a lot trickier. Assimilation, I actually really like this level because of the chaser on the right-hand side. You can see there's a little wire on him, which means that when he sees you, he's going to zoom after you, which makes this very hairy. You have to be very careful with the way that you're positioned, because these 2 ends, one on the left and one on the right, if he gets in there, you have to either get him out or die, because you really cannot get the item in there, because he'll constantly see you and just hit you relentlessly. You see there, he's chasing after you. You can see how much faster he moves than the regular chaser. And then we got this one, Hulk Slogan. This level is 2/3 a great level. Because right here, I like this stuff. I like the idea of teasing these turrets. All these different kinds of turrets, I like that. And it's got a little escalation here because we're about to fight with a missile turret. And I like this, and I also like the fact that all the gold's in the bottom, which does make it fairly challenging. And this jump here is a little hairy, but then it ends with another sniper turret. It doesn't really raise the stakes. They really should have used something else in there, like a laser or something. Well, actually probably a regular turret. A machine gun turret probably actually would have been a better choice than what they went with there. But whatever, I'm not a game designer. So let's go on over to the last episode of this video. This one here, don't pull a censored, is blah. Because as you can see here, I'm going to zoom out. There's no enemies, just mines, and all the mines are pretty damn easy to avoid. It kind of fixes itself in the fact that there's two paths that you can take, and they both have the same amount of gold in them, and you can do that so that you're constantly doing stuff as opposed to, you know, not. But in the end, you've just got a level here that's just making you take a little while, and getting out of that pit's tricky, but, you know, not that tricky. So, done talk about this level, not much else to say. System Core is actually a pretty well done level. This one really ramps up the difficulty because you cannot stop moving here. Since the entire thing in the middle is with bouncy pads there, and there's a double bouncy pad, so it's really hard to control. And you kind of have to keep dodging these sniper turrets, and you got to move a little fast, and you have to kick off the very bottom row there, or that fall will kill you. Goes by really quick, but it's kind of interesting. Now, I had to keep this blooper in here because I haven't seen this happen in a while. This happens every now and then in N+, where I somehow also hit the exit door at the same time, thus negating this entire level. And I really didn't want it to be that, so killed myself. So now I'm going to show you guys the proper run, which is actually a fairly fun level. It does make you go back and forth, but it's a smaller arena, so it's okay. And there's quite a few enemies to deal with, which also makes it fun. And there's multiple paths. You're not just taking the same path. You're looping, but you don't have to do the exact same line every time. And you kind of wait for these two to be over there, and it kind of makes it a little bit easier to deal with. And plus you can drop, and since the thing takes a right, you can easily avoid that one. And there we go. We hit the door button, and now we're going to get out of this level. 2 left. This one here, Monster Faces, once again does that kind of dickish thing where it's you start at the door and you got to work all your way back. But unlike the last one where we had to do that, it kind of really doesn't change. The only thing that actually really does change is this thing here with the missile is a little more difficult coming back because you're going directly at the turret. But everything else is pretty much the same. Just take it a little easier because we've got rounded corners here, but the zoomers can't go to the corners. So you can easily just stand on them and walk around. Now this here, if you straight up rush after you get into line of fire of the missile, it won't hit you. This one here will be a little bit more hairy, as you can see there, but we were still easily able to avoid it. And we just got to get out. Which, as you can see, I'm just standing in the corner going, okay, let's do this. And that bouncy pad, I don't know why it's there. It really just made the things easier. Probably should have taken that one out. And now here is pretty hairy, actually, because getting out from that missile can very easily turn into not working. Now let's do the last level, which is one of my all-time favorites. You can't take it with you. It's simple, to the point, and a little bit of a puzzle. The one on the top is the hardest one to get because you have to use gravity to get it, but other than that, it's not too difficult. And then here, you can easily just lazily jump up and get it. But all in all, I like this design. It's quick. You can retry it a few times if you mess it up and you're not wasting your time. But that's going to do it for this part. We're going to dig into the next set next time, and things are going to get hairy. See you guys.